Okay, so I wanted to, yeah, so the creative ideas, we usually have more ideas than we actually know what to do with them. When that happens, when that creative uh, workflow seems to not be always intense. So there's a solution for every single pause, and there's a reason why it has paused. Okay, sometimes there's a need for a break. Sometimes there's a need for restudy, revision, or even more inspiration. The flow of information and the creative mechanism, they all run on a fuel. Okay, so the fuel in this particular instance, we're going to say, is creativity and concentration. And from concentration to proper preparation and anticipation of what's to come up next. Okay, so they function on this. So how do we make sure that it remains sustainable on the long term and reduce the amount of interruptions? Okay, for this creative, so we make sure that we reduce the amount of interruptions, paying close attention. Okay, understanding what are the likely causes which would cause that interruption, and what are the likely causes which would eliminate and eradicate this interruption, so you can keep that momentum going, keep that flow going. Most likely those are related as well to habits, routines. So increasing the output of your creativity helps a lot. Okay, so we've all heard, I think you may have heard of the 10x rule. Okay, this is instead of doing, you do something more than, like, instead of doing it 5 times, you'll just do it like 50 times. Okay, so instead of like writing one blog post, you'll write 5 blog posts or 10 blog posts. Okay, you'll increase your output, you'll work a little bit faster, you'll work a little bit more intensively. This will give you more feedback to work with. Okay, so you'll be able to say, this I need to correct. Okay, this is great what I'm doing, this part is working amazing. All right, because you're going to be receiving your result directly from your actions. Okay, so you're going to see, okay, this is working and this is not working, so you'll intensify what works and you'll reduce what doesn't work. Okay, this will allow your creativity to continue fluctuating and getting better and better and more refined. Okay, so we actually all have within us a success mechanism. Okay, it's like the gut instinct. It'll tell you, it'll give you more or less like that gut feeling. What you're doing right now, maybe that's not the right thing you should be doing. Right. Okay, so sometimes we ignore it. Okay, we prefer to ignore it because it just makes sense that doing something which is not as productive, okay, is easier than doing something. At first, it looks easier than doing something which is productive. All right, so it's much wise, obviously, to listen to this instinct, because it's a successful instinct which we are each one born with. We're each born with the ability to achieve those successes. So that creative process should be more or less, it can be used at all times, through the intensity, through whichever circumstance which someone's in. There's no excuse. That can be accessed and it can be used. Okay, you can get into it and you can actually access it. You just have to listen to the cues, what is being said, when it's necessary, taking the steps, having the courage to listen to the gut. Of course, gut is to do with courage, because we all know it's like you gotta have the guts to go out there and and do what's right. Okay, sometimes doing what's right requires a lot of courage, and that's what it's for. We gotta stand up, do what's right, and you'll be able to have your feedback in real time and see how that worked out. Okay, but the creative process is all a question of intensifying what you're doing. Okay, because once the creative process is switched on and is turned on, you can actually do amazing work in very short amount of time. Okay, it's more quality versus quantity, but you have to still put out more quantity, so you have more to evaluate at the end, and to correct, and to intensify where you need to intensify, and reduce where you need to reduce. This will greatly help your creativity to remain fluctuating, to remain flourishing. Okay, all right, bye for now.